Alright, you are back here with Marx's. Let's play of Age of Conan, the strategy board game. We're going to cut right into it here. We're on the Stygian player's turn, and they're going to use the wild die in order to do some military expansion. I think what they're going to do is attack Central Shem. Okay, the warmongering Stygians first attack. 2 hits there. And now for the defenders. No hits. So first phase successful for the Stygian army. And they're going to go ahead and force march to get hopefully this province under their control. What do we got? 2 hits there. And for the defenders, I'm almost rooting for the defenders. Oh, they got 2 hits there. So that is a unit killed. An offensive unit killed by the defenders. Well, what should they do? I think they're going to keep pressing. They've got a strategy card they will play, which is going to count shields. And I think we're going to activate the Witch Zarallo, who is going to raise some fighters from the dead. And they attack once more. Only 1 hit. We're going to use some sorcery, I think. We're going to use all of it, heck. We're going to use all of their magic power to re-roll a couple dice here. Really pushing it for this attack. And 2 more hits there. So it was worth the spending. Now the defenders, 1 success only. So with that, the Stygian army takes over Central Shem. It wasn't easy, and it cost them a lot of magic power and men, but they have done it. Now over to Aquilonia, where Conan joins the ranks of the Aquilonian army. The Aquilonians get another 2 treasure token. And right now they are kind of running away with all the Conan tokens. They've kept him under their control 2 out of the 3 times now. So the Aquilonians decide to take a intrigue action. And they're going to go for some diplomacy over in Ophir there. And they've got the Cobra Crown, don't forget. So they've got a bonus to their intrigue. And with their first roll, they score only 2 successes, and the defenders, in this case I guess they're debaters, but only 1 success for the debaters, so they are officially part of the Dominion of Aquilonia. Now the Hyperborean player gets to re-roll the fate dice. And there you have that. Now, the Hyperborean player doesn't hesitate to snag one of them Conan tokens. It's a 3-woman token. And they are very close to the Aquilonians as far as how many tokens are. But they're going to use their court action to activate the Yellow Lotus Flower. So what that means is they are going to move an emissary into the important territory of Samaria and initiate a contest there. And they get a bonus 2 dice for that. Okay, so the Hyperborean attempt to influence the country's leaders. 3 hits there. Very compelling. And the defender, though, counter rebuttal. Oh, there's 1 stuck in there. Only one success. So they were convinced easily to join the cause of the Hyperboreans. And now south to Iranistan, where the Turan army continues their siege of the pirate base. 2 hits there, and the defenders... Oh, lucky, but only 1 hit. So, the Turanian army succeed in subjugating province of Iranistan. So now, Turan has succeeded in its war against the pirates and will receive the objective points at the end of the age. So Conan completed his venture in Aquilonia, being a part of the Aquilonian army, and now his new adventure will begin, the Lair of the Ice Worm. Location in Samaria, which is right next door to where he already is. Conan faces a horrible monster to avenge the lovely Inga. And because Conan was in the province at the end of the adventure that he was supposed to be in, they get a bonus token, the Aquilonians do. Not a hugely valuable one, but they're going to keep it for its value, or the token. They've got a lot of cash right now. Alright, we will perform another bid for Conan. Now the Aquilonians, they didn't spend a lot on trying to get him on their side this turn. They've had him a lot. They have 6 Conan adventure tokens currently, more than anyone else. So they're okay with letting him go for 1 this time anyway. The Hyperboreans, they, like the Aquilonians, didn't feel that they could use Conan at this point in time. So they basically passed on him as well. The Turan, they spend a good amount trying to influence Conan here. He is a long ways away, but they only have 2 adventure tokens right now, and they would like to start collecting some of those. And after a long debate, the Stygians decided that they weren't going to spend a large token amount on trying to get Conan at this point. He's still far to the north, and they really wanted to use him for their military conquests, but he's too far away at this point to make it worth it for them. So it looks like the Kingdom of Turan successfully wills Conan to their side. In Aquilonia, they decide to bring in the Bosonian Archers unit, which is a military unit. They're going to start building up their military, I think. Looking to the future, they can't hope to use diplomacy for the entire game. But for now, they are going to use this action, the intrigue action, in order to recruit a new emissary in the province of Ophir. Okay, so in Hyperborea, they decide to do a military action to recruit a couple new troops in, where's this? Bithynia, and in their home province of Hyperborea. They see an opening in the south that they may want to exploit in the next little while, so they should start building up their military again. So the Turanians' first chance to use Conan. He moves north into Samaria, his home province, where he's going to attack the Lair of the Ice Worm. And they get a treasure token. Now, the Turan can also see that they've got a wide opening in their northern borders, and that the Hyperborean army has been amassing near them, so they're a little bit worried, but at this point, they're going to use this chance to spread out some of their emissaries west to Conan and southwest into the eastern deserts. Maybe they can get some of the nomadic tribes to join their side. Okay, the battle for southern Shem is about to commence. Now, the Stygian army wants to roll good here. They don't have a very good strategy. meaning they don't have any good cards in their hand, and their sort of cult leader Zarallo is still incapacitated after the last battle he's involved in. So here we go. First wave. 2 hits for the attackers and the defenders. Oh, lucky, but only 1 success. So that moves them up on the campaign track. And I believe the Stygians are into pushing their luck, so they will try to press the attack. Where are they? In the hills of southern Shem. Second wave, 1 hit, and the defender, 1 hit. So defender wins ties, and that is a loss. So the attack is stalled in the hills of southern Shem. Okay, the Aquilonians get to roll a new set of fate dice. Yep. Now, the Aquilonians decide that is their turn to have some military expansion, so they're sending 5 legions into the Pictish wilderness to start a campaign there. So in the first waves of the attack in the forests of the wild here, the Aquilonian army scores 2 successes. Not very good, but the defenders are unable to stave off that attack. So the first wave is successful. They're going to go ahead and push on and attempt another assault. This time, I think, just to be safe, they're going to use an archer assault, and that's going to add 1 automatic success to their roll. And now, for a total of 3 successes. So I think I did that right. Anyway, the defenders need a good roll here. Oh, I got stuck. Oh. Not enough, not even 1. So the second wave just smashes through the next wall of defenders, and finally I think they are going to push through. This time though, they are going to use a strategy card. Shields are going to count. They need every strategy they can get, and 2 successes there. And the defenders once again fail to stave off the attack. So, pretty successful attack by the Aquilonian army. Alright, so up in Hyperborea, they don't want to lose their chance to steal one of those Conan tokens. So, oh, it's a good one too, a 3-woman token, some kind of powerful woman in Conan's life. Anyway, they decided to draw a kingdom card and a strategy card, and they pulled the lovely Legions of the Dead card. Can't wait to see that one come out. So now Conan decides to stay in Samaria, where he has completed his adventure. So the Turanians get the final adventure track token and a bonus token, 2 women tokens. So that must be the lovely Inga that Conan rescued from the ice worm. Alright, so to finish off their turn, the Turanians are going to recruit a few people in Gulistan and Iranistan. So this adventure being complete, we move on to the next one, which will be the Slithering Shadow in the Black Kingdoms, right here. Fleeing southward into the desert, Conan discovers the time-lost city of Zuthal and must deal with its demonic deity. Now, Conan's got a long way to walk in order to succeed at this mission, so we'll see how the players decide to play this one out. Okay, here once again, the nations vie for control for Conan for temporary time. But anyway, the Aquilonians bid in with 5, not a lot. They still have a lot of Conan tokens, so they're not too concerned about it. Stygian spending big money on this one. They really want him this time. They've got the least amount of Conan tokens, which are pretty important at the end of the game. Hyperborean's also spending a big money, but they'd fail to outbid the Stygians because Conan's up in the north and they would have liked to use him for a few of their conquests. And finally, we have the Turanians who pass basically with a low bid. So it looks like Stygia finally gets a chance to control Conan. Alright, so Stygia moves Conan into Aquilonia on his way to the Black Kingdoms. But they're going to claim a crown action and move Conan once again into Ophir. And they're going to have him raid there while he's there. And with their crown action, they're going to draw 2 cards. A kingdom card and a strategy card, and they have drawn the Black Magicians of Keshata. So back in Aquilonia, the emissary in Zingara here is going to chat with the local lords and see if they're going to join in on the Aquilonians' cause. Now, since the Aquilonians are in possession of the Cobra Crown, they get a sweet bonus to their diplomacy. I guess all of the outlying provinces bow their allegiance to the Cobra Crown, so it gives them an extra dice. And with that, they get 3 successes, and the Zingara nobles, they counter rebuttal with only 1 success. So that would mean that the emissary in Zingara was successful in convincing the nobles to join the Aquilonian side. Now, returning to Hyperborea, the leadership there decide to draw forth the Legions of the Dead into play. And they are quietly amassing a nice stack of Conan influence tokens, so they're going to use this opportunity to snag another one. And it is a monster token. And finally, with their card draw, they're going to draw a kingdom card and a strategy card, and they have drawn the Visions of Cyclopean Walls event, which allows them to reuse one of their Conan bid tokens, which is pretty handy. They've spent quite a few of their bid tokens at this point and have yet to sway influence over Conan. At least I think so. Now over to Turan, and with the final fate die, as well as the end of the age approaching, the Turanian leaders realize that they need to vie for a few more territories before the end of the age, so they're going to use the last wild die to perform a intrigue action in the eastern desert here. Now, the Turanians control a lot of the surrounding area here, so they get 5 dice to roll here. They have a lot of influence over the eastern desert nomads. And with that, they succeed in getting 4 successes. Quite a convincing argument. And with 2 dice to roll, the defenders don't have much of a hope of arguing that point away. So the nomads in the eastern desert join the side of the Turanians. So now the turn passes to the Stygians, and they get to re-roll the fate dice. Mix of everything a bit here. Conan himself wanders further south into Koth. The Stygians are a little disappointed that he didn't quite make it to his goal in the Black Kingdoms, or was he able to provide any assistance to them. But they do get the remaining adventure token. It is a monster token. So with the Stygian army's failed attempt at conquering southern Shem, They decide to take the last action of this age as an intrigue action to set out some emissaries into southern Shem and into Darfar. And so ends the first age of Conan, and this is just a overview of the board as it sits right now. Each empire has spread itself fairly well, it looks like, and I think I'll go through and do sort of a summary of each country and what their goals and plans are. First, we have Aquilonia, who actually did a fairly good job of sticking with their plan of pursuing a peaceful expansion rather than a militaristic expansion. And they did do pretty well at that, expanding into the south. And though they are feeling slightly threatened by the Stygian menace to the south, it's pretty obvious that after the horrible defeat in southern Shem suffered by the Stygian army, that threat level is not as concerning at this time. So I believe that the Aquilonians are going to continue their peaceful expansion, perhaps to the east and the north. The Hyperboreans, although they do have a large horde, what is this place here? Brithunia. At this point, with the powerful province of Nemedia in the way, the Aquilonians feel that although it's a minor threat, they feel that they could muster their forces quick enough if need be. Now to the frozen wastelands of Hyperborea. The Hordes have been running around in the hills of northern Hyboria, led by the dreaded Blood Queen of Sigdona and her legions of the dead. And I believe that those Hyperboreans are going to continue this strategy of annihilation. They've got a nice army, and there doesn't seem to be any way to stop them from expanding at this point. Turan and Aquilonia are too spread out to pose any kind of a threat. So how they proceed is going to be an interesting play indeed. Now to the deserts of the Turanian Empire. They did all right, spreading themselves with some military expansion as well as using diplomacy to garner up support in the steppes and the eastern deserts, the nomadic tribes there. And I believe they're going to continue kind of a balanced expansion at this point. They don't have a very good selection of powerful cards at this point either. They're more or less running from a nomadic leadership, I believe would be a close way of describing it. Almost like a Mongol horde, except without the horde. At least at this point anyway. It's only the end of the first stage, so we still have a long way to go as far as how the game progresses. So I enjoy playing the Turanians a lot. I like how they have an interesting area to start with. And now over to Stygia, where at first they had kind of a threatening start to begin with, but their attempt to conquer all the territories of Shem petered out here in southern Shem. They weren't exactly crushed, but their army has been heavily depleted, and they're not looking exactly strong right now. But they do have a wall of forts guarding their northern border, so that is not a bad thing either. They definitely want to get their hands on Conan a bit more and use his abilities while he's close to where they can be used, as far as where the Stygian strategies are going to be concerned, and we'll see how that plays out. in the next age. And as far as what their plans are, at this point, they may be stuck with trying to do some diplomacy, but their character was a lot more geared to military expansion and using their armies. So perhaps some rebuilding as well. And going from there. Many years left to play in this game. Alright, to wrap up this video, I thought I'd just review where the countries are at as far as their points. Aquilonian is sitting at the bottom with only 3 points. Stygia and Hyperborea both sitting at 6, and Turanian is in the lead with 7. Now, with the age change, there's going to be some adjustments on this track with the objectives points that are going to be dished out, and we'll cover where that ends up in the next video, and as well what the change of age is going to mean for all of the empires and their strategies. So if you've been watching, thanks a lot, and I hope you're enjoying this series. I'm not sure it's going to be quite a few videos by the end of it, but I really enjoy making the board game videos above all else. It's a lot of fun to put these together and try and share my love of board games with the world. So this is Marks, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.